Does anybody else feel like they were born to do just one thing? For me, it's game development. I'll be honest, I struggle to function day to day if I don't have a game development project to enjoy. Something I can work on to release the stress after a hard day of work. Gone are the days of the wacky backy and the buck fast. Game dev is now my drug for post-work stress release. So what's my new game dev project? Let me show you. So a few months ago, I started developing a roguelike. And no, not a roguelite, a roguelike. Forget Hades and Dead Cells, we're talking old school. Games so old, you need a manual just to figure out you're the @ symbol. And best of all, my game would redefine stunning visuals. Forget millions of polygons, I had the entire alphabet to play with. Sarcasm aside, I enjoy roguelikes, but I've always had gripes with them. And that's why my Tales of Majesty hours on Steam sit at a whopping 10 hours. Now just remember, Steam doesn't count offline hours. But let's be serious now, this matters, and I'm gonna explain why. So, I'm actually a roguelike noob, but I'm not just a noob. I'm what you would call a filthy casual. But this isn't a roast video. This stuff is important, believe it or not. First, my noob gripes include crappy UIs, complex character progressions, and bland overworld maps. And secondly, I barely have any time to play games, never mind roguelikes, so it takes me ages to progress. And I had the perfect plan to make the most out of my problems, and it was called Rogue Legends. It's a typical roguelike, set in a fantasy world. You create a character, you explore, loot, kill monsters, but you also age with each action. So imagine this: Brutus, the barbarian, slayer of dragons, conqueror of cities, unfortunately killed by a pesky goblin because he woke up with a sore back and he was blind in one eye. Short, engaging and rewarding playthroughs with meta progression, but I realised something. I was in danger of falling into the same old traps that had killed many of my projects before. I'd have to spend countless hours designing and building an engaging and exciting world that felt different each time that you played. And that was something I'd have to do even for a demo. While it's not overly ambitious and definitely not impossible, I decided to go down a different route. So I sat Rogue Legends on the shelf for now. I played loads of games and I wrote down what I liked and what I didn't. I took note of every single shite game idea that I had. Wherever I went, my notebook came with me. And it turned out one of those shite ideas wasn't so shite at all. Now before I show you my new game, I had some rules that my game idea had to adhere to. It had to have a simple art style that wouldn't take up all of my time. It had to have short playthroughs of say 20 to 30 minutes. It needed a roguelike meta progression system, and it needed some sort of sandboxiness. Is that a word? I just needed the final piece to the puzzle. What type of game am I making? The answer came when I was playing Majesty 2. Have you ever loved a game but wanted to enjoy it even more? For me, that's Majesty. I first played back in 2009, and ever since, it's a favourite that I revisit each year. But each time I play, I find more faults with it. Have you ever experienced this with a game? Let me know in your comment. And while you do that, here's a quick summary of the Majesty games. They are fantasy kingdom simulators. You build a town, you hire heroes, you create quests, and balance your defences, resources, and pursuit of your objectives. It's a great premise, but the more you play it, the more it feels like a regular RTS just with no direct hero control. And I love the Majesty games, but I want more from them. With no games on the market, I guess it's down to me. So here's my answer. In a pixel art fantasy world, you start with a small plot of dirt. You build it up to a town that attracts heroes. They'll tackle quests in exchange for your gold. Once they've earned their gold, the real fun begins though. You'll need to coax them back into your town. Growth is all about expanding into new lands, choosing different biomes which dictate who and what you can attract next. Now, each new land plot shapes the game further. You'll need to decide whether you expand into a frozen wasteland or a swampy forest, and these will bring challenges and benefits for your town. It's a bit like Majesty meets Islanders, meets Zoo Tycoon and RimWorld, all in the blender, if you can picture that. So now I'll give you a quick run through of my first couple of weeks working on this brand new project, which, by the way, it still needs a name, so if you've got a suggestion, leave it in a comment, I might pick it. First up, I created a tile map for my world, simply using water and ground tiles. Then I added the ability to place buildings to make up the towns. But what's a town without people? I took the AI code from Rogue Legends, and just like magic, we have heroes wandering aimlessly through an empty world. Excellent. But they looked bored, so I threw in some quest markers for them to chase after. Then, with my A-star pathfinding from a previous game, they could actually find their way to the quest markers. I gave these agents alignments, either to the player or the enemy AI. The result? They're already scrapping, ripping each other's limbs off. It's a great time. But one map? That's not enough. I hadn't added the map expansion feature yet. I wanted players to be able to craft the world the way that they see fit. I want the game to be a canvas for the player creatively, but I knew that this feature would be tricky and awkward. So like any true game developer does, I procrastinated by working on other things. Until I couldn't. I'm nearing the end of my first 2 weeks, so I just went for it. Full Tonto. Bashing the keyboard for hours, and now we have an expanding world all at the mercy of the player. Then I plop down enemy camps, which will be randomised each time a new tile plot is purchased. But you may notice a problem. The more heroes and enemies, the slower and more boring this game is. It turned out that my AI setup from Rogue Legends didn't play nice with crowds, so I spent the night reworking my turn system and AI behaviour to make all agents act simultaneously rather than sequentially. I spent a few more hours fixing things like stacking on the same tile, breaking the pathfinding, and whatever this weird dance routine is. And then it hit me. I needed a break from this coding marathon. So, why am I even making this video? Guess I just wanted to show you the chaos and creativity of jumping back into game dev. Unlike last time where I was chasing the famous indie dev dream, I now view game development as an art form, somewhere I can express myself and blow off steam after work. Thanks for watching this video guys, and I hope you'll join me next time. If you enjoyed this, liking the video or subscribing for future content would make my day. Keep developing, keep living the dream, I'll see you next time.